हेलो गाइस, मेरा नाम है दीपक एंड वेलकम टू टॉक ई स्पोर्ट। आज हमारे साथ है रोहित जगासिया जो हमसे बातचीत करने आए हैं अबाउट ई स्पोर्ट्स। ही इज़ द ओनर ऑफ RNTX हु नीड्स नो इंट्रोडक्शन। Rohit bhai, welcome to Talk Esport.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us about yourself apart from being an RNTX owner.
I mean, I honestly, when I started off because of my love towards esports. I've been playing games since I think over 2 decades now. I started with like playing Contra on the normal, on the normal
consoles.
I don't call it PlayStation, but whatever they used to call it, like the one that you connect with the TV. Then played a lot of Pokemon and stuff on the Game Boy, and then started playing in cafes. So I've been a gamer through and through. I still play games, and apart from that, just the normal stuff. Really like to watch anime, watching football also to an extent.
You lived your life all through Bombay itself?
So I was born and brought up in Bombay. After that, I went to study abroad. So apart from Bombay, I've worked in Singapore for a while, and I've also stayed in Sydney for a while. Dubai is a very large part of my life because we have a family business there. Plus, I studied in Dubai also for a brief amount of time, and also studied in Singapore. Been through and through from Bombay, but had these small experiences of going abroad to study.
So in which domain you had your education? In which domain?
So I did my bachelor's in India itself, which was in business, and post that I did my majors in contemporary marketing management from SPJN. Also did my minors in corporate finance. So mainly management and business studies.
So how did the Revenant story come about?
So I was always like, after working in Singapore, I came back, joined my family business. We are a infrastructure and a fabrication company. So I was doing that, and then during COVID, I had a lot of time in my hand. Used to not really go to the factory too much. I was generally working from home. At that point of time, I think there was a PUBG ban, and I stumbled across these scrims and everything that used to go on for PUBG on Discord. And I found Call of Duty Mobile a very interesting game at that point of time. And the whole Revenant story started from Call of Duty Mobile. We had a Call of Duty Mobile team. It consists of a couple of players like Master, Abyss, Zyro. And, I honestly, it was like picking each player and, putting like one whole team together. So I was very, very invested in that entire, not only from financially, but even emotionally with that whole roster. And had like a place lying in Bombay, set up a boot camp and everything for them there. And they made it to the World Championship at that point of time and won like, I think $40,000 or $50,000 in prize pool. And that's where the entire story started. And I was like, I want to have like a esports team because I was very passionate about esports. Never really thought about looking at this from a creator sort of an angle or whatever. It was just all in all esports. After that, we also picked up like a BGMI team. I think at that point in time, we had Encore, Paradox. We also sponsored a lot of community events in Call of Duty back in the day. And then basically got into BGMI when it was back, and it was banned again after we got into BGMI. And after that, we were, a very sort of a esports driven, performance focused organization. Had a Apex Legends team with 1 Indian player and 2 Indonesian players. Made it to ALGS. Probably one of the only Indian organizations back in the day to make it to ALGS. So it was a very holistic esports performance focused vision at that point of time. And that's how the entire story started.
Yeah, from a manufacturing background towards something as Gen Z as esports now into contemporary, these titles like Apex and COD as you said. So what did transform for you? Why did you not become a player yourself? And why didn't you play competitively?
No, I didn't. I don't think I was that good to play competitively. But, so I'm a big fan of Chelsea. I've always, liked how clubs operate, and plus had like I used to still watch, all the Counter-Strike majors and watch most of these esports tournaments and everything. And at that point in time, the fact that I was so fascinated by how a club really works, I was like, having an own esports club would be awesome, and it's like a growing industry and stuff. And that's how it started. But I mean, even in the whole Chelsea journey, more than maybe Frank Lampard, I was like more fascinated with what Roman Abramovich did for the club rather than Frank Lampard. And I think that's where I got my inspiration. And I was like, apni team banate. And I was a big fan of G2 back in the day. That's why if you see like most of our communication, tone of voice, and everything that we really take from Revenant Xspark, it is inspired a lot by G2.
So how do you map these international clubs? As you mentioned G2, how do you map these international clubs with the Indian counterparts as we are today?
I mean, you mean to say like...
in terms of performance, skill set and resources that we are putting into it?
Yeah, I mean, I think in India is a very different scene. I think now it is like kind of matured. Like earlier when we used to banter and stuff like that on Twitter, people used to feel offended about the stuff that we did. And I think India still will take time more time to mature and stuff from a esports point of view. I think we're still very far behind. But with that being said, I think, stuff has increased. People have started accepting banter for that matter. But yeah, I think, it's grown. I'm not going to say that, we are already at the level of a Vitality, Liquid or G2. It'll take a while, but I think we're moving in the right direction.
From a player's perception, we are competing with 1.4 billion population, so it's always tough to choose the right game and choose the right skill set for you so that you can excel onto the titles. But from a team owner's perception, do you think this is the right moment for someone to put money into an Indian esports ecosystem? Is it there yet in terms of sustenance, in terms of financials, in terms of growth?
I think for us and a couple of teams, if I have to really speak about, I think it's there yet, but it is a journey. I think every business that you do it requires some time for, brands who want to sponsor you or brands who want to work with you for that matter, to take time to like, trust and, to support the vision that you're trying to, put together. And with that being said, I think initially it was not like, we got into esports and we had like a sponsorship and we made like bank straight up. There was a lot of investment, not only financial, but time, effort, blood and sweat. Literally. And after that, I think once we started building that momentum, there was a snowballing effect that happened. And, we started talking to brands more often. We started speaking to like really top talent also, more than what we used to back in the day. And I think it's a good time, but I think it takes a while to, build your reputation. And I think that is not only the case in sort of, say, esports. I think it's for every business. Like all the teams in cricket who are a part of IPL are going to always be a part of the IPL. But if there's a new team or something that really comes in to another sort of a new league, it'll take time for them to, really make it. But I think the same thing goes with players. I think now, at least with Krafton, the entire format with BGIS and all the number of community tournaments that happen across games, I think there's a lot of more opportunity for underdogs also now. But yeah, I think it's a tough space, not only for team owners, organizations, but also for players for that matter.
Even the numbers right now in terms of the titles, which esports we may call, earlier it was Dota, now then CSGO. Now the industry has moved slightly towards mobile gaming specifically.
Yeah.
So don't you think it's too much of a BGMI dependent right now?
Yeah.
Of numbers?
I think, I'd not like to call it BGMI dependent, but yeah, it is a mobile first market in India. I honestly like PC games the most. I find my passion more towards PC games. However, I enjoy watching, the other Battle Royale games also. But yeah, India is a mobile first market. It's the second largest smartphone market. Mobile data plans are the cheapest in the world. So kind of like, I think it only makes sense. And I think now with most PC games also, they've also taken that approach that it's best to catch players early. Like, when people are actually playing BGMI and all that, there is a higher chance of a player who's playing BGMI or a Free Fire to move into, you know, a PC game and adopt that game. So I think it's been holistic growth, but yeah, I think you're right. It's more of a mobile first market, and I think this year is going to be massive. Like with the number of titles, I think Rainbow Six just came out. Mobile Legends has already started doing tournaments. There's another mobile game right around the corner.
Yeah. I phrased what I did because I wanted to know your perception on being an investor, being a team owner. Is it now you have to have a team in BGMI to be able to call yourself an esports team in India right now, or like it's not at that stage yet? You may have teams in different titles and still be profitable or still be sustainable.
I mean, you can, but I think, for example, like we have a Brawl Stars team that no one has really spoken about. It came third, fourth in the world right now in the World Championship, but it was a world class team. And again, you know, it was never like we had like a dedicated naming rights sponsor for that Brawl Stars team. But in terms of the prize pool that we probably made, it's been a break-even roster for us. So not necessarily, you know, be like, I think organizations should just get into BGMI off the bat. I think they can choose their calling. I think in Mobile Legends also, I've seen a lot of new organizations who don't have BGMI rosters but are into Mobile Legends. So I think right now, at least for this year, if you're referring to this year, I think whoever wants to get into esports, they'll have more options. You know, because a mobile is going to be like I think maybe if this year does well, we can probably say that next year it could be like a, you know, MOBA dominated market also, but it really depends. I mean, BGMI is at that scale that it's very hard to get to where they are, but there's going to be a lot of competition from MOBA.
Or is it so that the publisher also plays a major role? The Krafton in itself as a title publisher is too much active in the community. They take a lot of feedback. Karan from Krafton was here recently. He also mentioned it's very unique for someone like a publisher to mention an individual. He mentioned your name and said that we can see the ecosystem grow because people like Rohit has been a good part and been a good part of the ecosystem, and now as we can see and we can progress where the things are. So we are very bullish on people like Rohit to join the industry and take things ahead. So this was really unique and inspirational for maybe a new team owners or someone who aspired to be a team owner to join a new industry.
Yeah, I mean, I think with Krafton, at least the structure that they've built right now, I think overall in terms of IPs, you know, like, I mean, I think players, teams, and I think even esports enthusiasts, they look forward to a BJS, BMPS. And now they added 2 more IPs, you know, I think BMIC, if I'm not wrong, and BMHD. So they have like a proper sort of a roadmap.
Apart from this, I think they're also looking into some sort of franchisee league, which didn't happen last year. I'm not really sure what the plans will be for this year.
We got a city and all that, but I mean, I don't know why it didn't go forward. But yeah, I think, I mean, Krafton is very futuristic when it comes to their approach. And even during the whole process of every IP that they do, I think the team's always available.
Would that have formalized the sector a little bit more if there was franchisee league last year? What's your opinion on that?
I'm not sure. Yeah, like, I mean, maybe for a few orgs, it would have. Because I think it required a certain sort of an investment. It required certain sort of, you know, certain sort of like acumen to probably manage cash flows and all with that sort of investment. But I think it would have been good. Like, I mean, if it was done in the way that, you know, how it was explained to us, I think maybe it could have done good. But I don't know whether for the newer teams and, you know, for the teams who just got into the space, we'd also seen like a couple of brands who wanted to get teams for the league. So it would have been, I think, more holistic. And, you know, we see a lot of endemic brands right now getting into esports. Maybe through that league, we would have seen a lot of more non-endemic brands come and, you know, see what esports is all about. So yeah, I think, I mean, I was personally, I was forward for it, yeah.
So from your lens, from your vision on the business side of things, how in an esports ecosystem works, being a team owner, what makes the business profitable, and is it really the right time for people to look around for different sort of revenue models in terms of raising money from elsewhere, or do you think the kind of business deals you can expect from a title by the roadmap? Like, for example, BGMI has good events lined up this year. Do you think the price pool and the brand deals are good enough for people to sustain right now? Like, what is the business strategy behind running an esports team?
See, I mean, I like to really correlate this entire thing to running an esports team to running a football club or an IPL team. Most IPL teams or football clubs are either private equity backed, venture capital backed, or there is obviously maybe it comes from family money, like maybe for Manchester United. There is like a proper trust or a family that really owns it, and I think that is the way to go about for esports also, so that people actually start finding. And this is how it is in the West also. Every sort of esports team is institutionally backed, and I think it brings a lot of more professionalism to the team. And we've had that approach since day one. Like, I mean, we work out of a proper office, unlike most other esports teams. We have a boot camp. We have like a proper on-ground finance team and stuff like that. I think that's how it should be. But yeah, I think, I mean, with the whole business, esports price pools can't pay your bills for sure. It's honestly like, I mean, spray and pray, that you put a team and you pray that, you make it, you make some significant price pool out of it. Then we've been fortunate enough to have partners like IQ, AMD, Monster Energy, and, all the other Cybart for that matter to, support us throughout our journey. I think that is pretty substantial. The sum that comes, it makes sure that at least our roster costs and everything is taken care of. But apart from that, over and above, obviously, like, I mean, we also work a lot with other publishers. Like, we're working a lot with Reign of Titans as a publisher right now. We are really helping them launch their entire game here in India. We've built like a arena for them, in our boot camp. We're basically doing like side hustles, like even with the whole Naruto collaboration, where we made a significant investment in getting that license, creating merchandise. And now that's at that point in time, now, we don't want to just be called an esports team, but we want to become a youth company. And while doing that, esports is definitely important. It is a very strong marketing vehicle for, Revenant as a youth company right now. But we want to even look at content very seriously.
Yeah, very well. So when you talk about VCs and PE and these funds which you invest into, so they also look around for their own benefits, their own exit strategies, their own PL multiples, their PE ratios. So do you think this is the right way to look at esports businesses right now?
I think so. I think I think the industry is growing. The industry is great. Like, the industry is it's probably the best time to be a part of this industry, and I think it will only grow. But I think it also depends on the founder and the CEO, that who is a part of the company and who you're backing, because ideally you're not backing a company or backing a person, right?
Correct.
Whether his methodology is right and what is his long-term vision with his company or with himself for that matter. So I think, and I think that's generally the case with other VCs also. They generally look at that mainly. But in terms of business, I think 100%. Even with like the global IPs, like with VCT, programs with Supercell for Brawl Stars and stuff. I think teams can definitely.
Esports centric companies can certainly give back or pay back the multiples over what we expect.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
obviously
they require fandom. They need to create something to get them the fandom that a couple of teams here have here in India. And I think once you've probably created that fandom and you've created you've created a certain share of voice in the whole community, people would want to work with you, be it VCs, be it brands, be it athletes for that matter. Yeah.
Now I want to put some light on your recent collaboration with Xspark, the Revenant Xspark strategy, the whole content-driven platform. As you rightly mentioned, it's not an esports company specifically, but you want to make it a youth company. So what is your vision on that? And how did this conversation start?
Yeah, so I mean, more than a sort of while we thought about the entire collaboration, I obviously don't understand content as much. Scout is a key name in the entire esports community, and he was running Xspark throughout, throughout 2024, and they probably became the first ever team in the country to win 2 officials back to back. There were issues like they had their operational challenges and all that, which we kind of thought that we could probably sort that out for them. And with Revenant, we've always had like a history of not being bad at BGMI, but we've just been very unlucky when it comes to BGMI. So it only made sense, and plus I share a very strong bond also with Scout. He's like a very close friend. He's like family at the end of the day. So it only kind of made sense for us to probably support each other. And I think that was the whole motive behind this, and make RNTX like a sort of a global IP, make it like a very strong IP not only in India but globally. And that's why if you see most of all the teams also that we had, it was not like only we picked their BGMI team and we made it RNTX. We did a holistic partnership, and now the organization is called RNTX. We are in fact going to be coming up with a new logo. All of that is done. Everything's in the works right now. But the reason why we did lose separate logos, because we wanted our fans to also realize that it is a collaboration.
Correct.
Now the fact that now that people see us as RNTX and not as Revenant and Xspark, I think it's probably the right time to even show them a new identity, for that matter. Yeah.
Being a team owner, supporting your talent and your creators with the skill set, resources, equipments and things like that. Apart from this, do you also focus recently on the scheduling part in the non-productive or non-gaming side of things, like the meditation part, their mental health part, their physical therapy and
Yeah.
things which are not related directly to gaming? We have had a discussion with a lot of team owners, and they have specifically mentioned in the last couple of years that they are putting some light more towards the mental health of gamers, because they are exposed to such sort of audiences every day. They read these comments which are not really always very pleasant for them. So how do you also plan to give
to
your
be
team resources?
super honest with you, I think every Indian organization who says that they focus on mental health and physical health is a lie. I don't think we also really focus on that. I think it is. We try and make sure that the coach tries and put the players in a proper routine and everything. But there is access to the gym and stuff. All of that as a part of the contract and everything. But at the end of the day, I think the players also now, at least with the whole social media age, I think everyone is very focused towards getting fit and stuff like that. So with that being said, I think the players, at least we've been very lucky with the players that we work with, are themselves very driven to, make sure that they are in the right mental space and all that. We've just recently signed like a Valorant roster, and from the day they got into the bootcamp, I think the first question that they had for our manager there was, where is the closest gym? So I think every probably organization who says that we probably coax the players to go to the gym and all that, no organization can do that. And I think players are themselves very sort of driven to. But yeah, in terms of the mental bit, yeah, we have mental coaches and all of that as and when required for players. But
No, not specifically a third-party gym or something, but something related to maybe prescribing them nutraceuticals or getting them involved with a therapist or some sort of thing where you can limit their hours on the gaming stuff so that they can also spend some good time with their own self. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have mental coaches for sure, and even in terms of their food and everything, because they stay at the boot camp, there is proper portion control. At least the food that they have, we know, is hygienic. It is with the right macros and with the right balance and stuff like that. We do that whatever we can, directly or indirectly, but still, I think players still order food from Swiggy and Zomato, so that is beyond our control. But yeah, wherever we can, I think mental health is also very relative, right? We imposing conditions on the players would also be like damaging their mental health.
Correct.
So it's, like I said, it's very relative.
So you have figured most of the things, being the owner of the team, you have figured out how the business works, how the players are being managed. About the industry policy stuff from the governance part of things, what things do you think they should prioritize? Like they should have prefer creating an organization or something like a chamber of commerce for esports specifically, or there has to be some strictness in the policy drafts for esports and esports events?
Yeah, I think there should be some sort of a policy, but with the policy also, I don't know whether every esports team also, apart from a few that I know, which I can think about right now, would be even compliant to match the esports policy. You know yourself, you know how the industry and everything works. So I think all of that we're too early. I think with the way things are going at this pace, I think it looks fine with, the government at least taking interest right now. But I think in terms of policy level and everything, the industry is still very early.
But we still see that a lot of players and organizations still talking about not getting visas on time, or we have been seeing that people talk about some gray areas of participation from brands which are technically banned in India, like some betting apps, or maybe something was operating under the radar of the government. So where the money flows, I think government has to at least play a part where they can draft a policy, have a forum, have a foundation where people like you can be a part of the administration body, and you can then draft so that tournament organizers also abide by those rules and regulations, and as well as it can benefit organizers and the players both.
Yeah.
So
no, fortunately, I'll give you an example. So there was the Pokemon Unite World Championship that was happening in London. This was back in 2023, I think. This was before RNTX happened. We were just Revenant. I still remember the team. It was, I think, Crowley, Swifty, Noah Zesol, and I think another player. I can't really remember his name. But they were supposed to be flying to London, and obviously needed visas, and some of them didn't have passports. So we first got them the passports. We applied for the visa, and the visa didn't go through. We applied again, and I still remember for that whole exercise, we'd probably spent about 20 lakhs or something. But the fact that we got an opportunity to go and represent the country on a world championship, even though we had like a very bad tournament while we reached in London, but we made sure that they went to London because we wanted to show commitment towards the sort of two esports altogether, because we want to represent the country. And yeah, with other teams, I don't know, but fortunately we've never faced a problem with the visa and everything. I think there is a certain way of doing things, and there is a certain method of doing things, and you might have to go above and beyond. You might have to probably think a little bit ahead of time, and stuff happens. But obviously, like you said, if there is a body who can really govern this and really help us with streamlining all of this, it would be great. But I think it's not right just to blame the government. I think management here also plays a very sort of a strong role. It's never like,
I drew the inspiration from most of the European unions, where I've read that they have now classification for an esports athlete. They are classifying it under the sports category.
Yeah, I was very surprised with Philippines actually. So we were applying for a work visa. So when we are working with international players, we make sure that unlike most other organizations, they get players on tourist visas. We make sure that we always get them on a proper work permit with a bank account here in India, and we're paying them in India, and then however they would like to weigh. So when we were getting a work permit for a certain player, the embassy actually asked him for a Wikipedia, which speaks volumes that they know that there is a Wikipedia.
They're also figuring things out.
Yeah. So yeah, I know. That should definitely be there in India, but again, I just think that it's very, very early right now. I think it will take time for organizations like us, for organizations like yourself, and maybe tournament organizers to educate the government about what really esports is. I think we've made it, right. We've come for far. No one really expected esports to be on a Star Sports primetime slot at 8 p.m. If that's happened, I think this will happen for sure.
Yeah, we also figured it out that the government and the ruling dispensation have been talking about esports from nearly a decade now.
Mm-hmm.
The first person who mentioned this was Mr. Shashi Tharoor. He mentioned on the floor of the house that esports is also a thing, and government should declassify or demerge a lot of industries which they have been collectively calling it games or online games.
Mm-hmm.
So I think back from 17, 18, now 26, the events happened. Like you also must have visited Waves, the event which happened last year.
I attended the Waves Bazaar that happened in Melbourne also. That was also great. Like, I mean, a very, very good event.
Yeah, so it's good that participation from a ruling party or from at least bureaucracy makes things very easier for the next generations to come.
Yeah.
Like before the Krafton, I'm drawing an example, like Krafton also had this structuring clause recently which said that 6 months there will be a limitation of people to change their teams and stuff like that. So similarly for the government's part as well, if they play a role in terms of organizing an event, playing a role in governing the calendars of the year, so that no events clash or they have a good amount of time between these, or by classifying which events are official, which are not official, so that people also can raise their complaints on how the event happened, or the players can at least write to a body about how are they being treated, how the payments and stuff and things like that. So obviously a government's role is always most welcome in an organization like us, which is still unsaturated.
Yeah, 100%.
So from your perception, right now India has a good amount of organizations which are right now consolidating their revenue source, paying people good on time, participating in events, having good conduct. You smirk when I talk about that, but still I would just want to touch upon that. Like not taking some names, but still your perception on how the ecosystem is right now. Is it mature enough for us to mention our parents that we are now part of this organization or this industry as a whole, or this is still considered as a hobby?
No, I think people have started taking esports seriously. I don't want to really talk about the payment bit and all that, but I know as a matter of fact for us, we don't really default on payments and all that. At least we try not to. But I mean, I think again, you know, we've grown. Like I think back in the day, I think when Revenant never even existed in esports, I think out of 10 organizations, 9 used to not pay. I think now we've come to maybe 5 paying and 5 not paying. So it's maturing.
There's still 5 not paying.
Yeah. So I think, I mean, it could be more than 5 also. But from all the information that I have, there's like 5 paying, 5 not paying. But it's grown. Like, I mean, it's become much better. And I mean, I think only the India sort of incidents generally come out on the market. We had invested in a Counter-Strike team in Europe. The scene is not any good there. You know, it's probably worse. So, I mean, people saying that, you know, Indian organizations don't pay and all of that, which is true and which is not true also. It's true to some extent, but even in Europe, North America and all, the scene is not as sort of matured as. It's just that, you know, things don't come out. Like a player would not really, you know, get tilted and put something on social media like how. No, because I mean, I think players also here sometimes just.
So what is the missing puzzle according to you? Like if you're saying scenes at NA or EU still has not matured after I think close to 2 decades of events happening, people supporting them, people visiting, teams investing, people like you putting in blood and sweat as you mentioned literally. So what is still the missing puzzle according to you? I'm talking about just the Indian subcontinent and compared it to the Western side of things.
I mean, like a proper robust ecosystem, yeah. Like, I mean, you know how a CS major works, you know, like, I mean, you make it to the major, you may get sticker revenue, and that's where, you know, we tried to go down that route also. But for me, it was very clear. We had players like NBK Nivera from Falcons who were representing us. We had, you know, Launex actually, and Launex and NBK who were, you know who NBK is. He played for Revenant, which is a very, very big deal for me. After that, you know, like, I mean, we could have probably made like a lot of money. We had like betting companies chasing us left, right and center to sponsor us. But I mean, if it was banned in my country, I didn't want to take money from a betting partner. And it was just against my ethics. And that's why that project it was not very, you know, it was not very appealing to me to take it forward and all that. But India, I think, lacks that robust ecosystem. I mean, you know, I mean, there has never been an incentive apart from prize pool of making it to a major. For example, today when I make it to a BGS grand final, yeah, obviously, you know, like, I mean, going and playing on LAN and everything is great. Players love it and everything. But it's never been like, you know, okay, all the BGS final teams will have like their own gun skin coming out in game, and with the gun skin, the fans will get an opportunity to buy the skin, and there'll be like a rev.
Yeah, product revenue, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I think there is.
This can really be a good contribution to.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, like for esports teams to come into our previous conversation, for them to just probably make money out of esports.
We thought those voice packs, you already had a revenue share there.
I think with the voice packs, there is an MG or something that you generally get, and it's not for esports players specifically. It is mainly for content creators and some large esports players. But again, that is more of an influencer deal where teams don't make too much.
Of course.
It's mainly like the creator makes money. The creator gets PR significance.
But the audience and the fan following in India are little bit lean towards the players or creators itself, or there's still a core cult following for organizations too?
I think organizations definitely have like a cult following. Like, I mean, we saw such a big rise in our following after, Scout was a part of the whole organization. He has like a very strong cult. We've seen, Sensei, as a matter of fact, right now, who's blowing it up. Like, he has like a very strong cult. One Church, for that matter, he has like probably the highest reach for us among most of our creators. Triggered also is great. But I think the whole cross-pollination of all these audiences together with our esports teams builds, a proper fandom for a team. And I think every team should focus on creating that fandom. But yeah, like, I mean, from a publisher point of view, I think no publisher has probably taken that effort to probably, incentivize a organization to probably come and, be like,
Correct.
We should be like super performance focused, that you make it to a Free Fire major, I mean, to an official final, or you make it to like a BGMI final or a BGS final. There's never been like a skin that's come out. I mean, everyone likes to do that, and it's kind of free marketing for them. They get so many free stories and so many free content pieces from the team to actually promote that skin and stuff like that. So I think all of this really, and I think every esports owner also is a gamer by heart. So having to see their own IP within that game it's awesome.
I think there's already a case use in CSGO. The economy runs on the skins part, as you mentioned. So some of the teams which we have seen that some weapons which are officially, which when they were launched, they were not more than $100. But right now, as we speak, they got so unique, and because they qualified to major events, the skins are now worth close to millions. Multi-million inventories people own just because, as you said, the owners had their own names, or there were some special plays by those players, and they then marketed very well.
Like my CS inventory, I've spent a lot of money on my CS inventory. I still hold it. Like, I've spent money on knives. I've spent.
So I'm not the only one. I'm glad that you are also one of those. So you also talked about the fan cult following, that you sold a good amount of merchandising as well on the Naruto deal after. Yeah. So this obviously happens when an organization has a good following, not specifically a player as such, but the organization as a whole.
Yeah, so I mean, with Naruto also, it was obviously the organization with Scout, with all our creators also having the kind of fandom that they have. But we also, like, I mean, I think with most anime titles, you only see unlicensed merchandise coming out, right? So we thought we'd go down. It is an expensive exercise. We thought we'd take like the official sort of route, pick up the Naruto sort of license and see how it does. And there we again see we're not only then catering to the esports audience, it becomes much larger, and there is a big overlap between anime audiences and
correct
esports audiences. Like, one thing that I really sort of saw, that every time I'd see like an esports tournament, a lot of their in-game names were inspired by anime.
Naruto, yeah.
Like Levi, you would see Levi. So I mean, I can just think of it right now that there is a player named Levi. I've seen players named Killua and stuff like that. So I thought it's a no-brainer to probably do something with anime. Like, I know Scout, Sensei, all these guys also are big time into anime. So it was very natural, when we did Naruto, we thought it'll be like a very big sort of, it'll be a lot of engagement for us, and that's the reason why we did. So obviously there were our fans who really liked it, but there were people who probably didn't know Revenant and who were Naruto enthusiasts and who saw our jersey and who saw the merch that we've come up with. And we also took that to Sunburn, and we had like a very good sort of response there as well.
Since mechanizing is a prominent vertical for you in terms of your revenue source as well, how do you deal with the counterfeit items? Like for the mechanizing part, licensing takes a huge time and efforts. You have paid millions for this licensing deal, but to be able to get an ROI back from this, you have to also deal with the counterfeit items available in the market at cheaper prices. So how does your team deal with that?
Fortunately, I mean, we've never seen counterfeit when it in the whole Naruto collab that we had. But yeah, we've kind of seen websites now selling our jersey and a couple of other Indian organizations' jersey which are counterfeit. And honestly, yeah, it's definitely illegal and it's a bad part, but it also means that people are taking the industry seriously. There is a counterfeit being built for the brands that we've created. So I think it is a part of growth. I mean,
it's just like how Nike Jordans work. So it's like still a Nike Jordan, even if it's a counterfeit.
Yeah, and I think if counterfeiting increases, it actually increases distribution also for me, right? I'm not like promoting it, but
of course
we've never really taken measures to. It's not been a very big problem for us right now, but we never really taken any sort of initiatives to actually try and reduce it or whatever, because not faced it at that scale yet.
So no legal proceedings as of yet?
Not as of now. I mean, not witnessed it as much or not encountered it as much to probably put our time and effort into that.
Right. You mentioned about Sunburn, so I'll just take you aside and talk a little about some incident which happened at the festival, or maybe somewhere near the festival, because there are multiple reports, there was rumors everywhere that something happened at the festival itself. So just want people to know from your perception and from the horse's mouth the true story, so that there are no clarifications required further from this.
Yeah, I mean, there was no story. So we were gaming partners for Sunburn. We had like a very sort of a solid booth and everything, where all our creators and their plus ones had access to Sunburn, where they could just probably go chill and enjoy the concert. And because it being a very marquee IP, and obviously we have friends in the esports industry. I mean, SA12 are friends, so we had like our previous player Sunburn, Sarang, who's a part of 8-bit right now, who wanted to actually come to Sunburn, and we were very happy to have him there because he's a part of 8-bit. And I think along with him there was Goblin also, and we were very happy to probably invite them to be a part of the celebration and everything. I think post that, it was just a personal feud that happened between Pardhan and Goblin. And I think the matter just got escalated for no reason. But I think that's not changed our relationship with SA12 for that matter. It's still a very professional and a friendly relation that I have, even with animation, Goldie. But that was just like, I think it was just a small little brawl and feud between two.
But it didn't really happen at the venue itself.
No, it didn't happen at the venue. I think it happened from after they left the venue, and then whatever happened outside the boot camps or whatever. But yeah, I think it then went into control, but the whole matter was just like, it kind of blew out of proportion.
Sometimes when dealing with creators, obviously people may blow it out of proportion when it comes to views and likes and whatnot. Yeah. So talking about your journey and your strategy now towards making this company into a content first company, not just esports specific. So what are your plans in the future in terms of mechanizing? You also mentioned that you are looking right now at the Naruto deal and you had a good revenue source from there. So are there plans further for even more mechanizing to be a part of your portfolio, and about the new age of content creators you are signing up recently?
Yeah, I mean, we've been like very fortunate to even work with creators like One Charge right now. He's been a part of the 50 show, had a great run there. Abhinav for that matter, Kiwi, Adit. So it's been great. We're also looking at doing a lot of sort of on ground stuff for our fans, where we probably curate like a proper festival and everything for them where they can come meet their favorite creators, buy our merchandise. In terms of merch, I think there's a lot of other stuff from the Naruto collaboration that are in the pipeline to be launched right now. So that's going to happen. And with Naruto, at least we've taken that whole stance that everything that we drop on our website is going to be available only once and then it's sold out forever. So definitely with Naruto, there's going to be a lot of stuff coming on. We are looking at adding a couple of more anime collabs also, which we are currently speaking to. And we'd probably look at, taking it forward very soon. But yeah, merch is going to be a big play. But along with having this whole thing about, having a big focus on creators, but at heart, we'll always be an esports first organization. Since the way we started the whole journey. But yeah, content creation being a heart of it, which content creation also being our vehicle to actually build fandom for our esports team. And yeah, I think, like I said, want to be a youth company rather than just being an esports focused company.
Any new influencers you are getting on board? This is just for exclusives. Some things you want to reveal about which are still not yet disclosed.
So I mean, esports teams definitely we're looking at. We have like two players and a coach being added to our Mobile Legends team. We have 2 international players now being added to our Valorant team. I think by the time this goes out, they'll be added as well. We have another
influencers as well.
Yeah, influencers. I mean, we are kind of very picky about the people we want to work with. There have been like a couple of influencers that we've tried to get. Some have come here, some have gone elsewhere and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, there is a strong focus on getting some creators and influencers from Free Fire. We want to even come up with a program where we try and do like a hunt to get like a new influencer actually, be a part of our roster. So a lot of plans, but I think it'll take like some time to put all of this on the floors. But yeah, definitely. I mean, teams, influencers, even with collaborations, we're coming up with a very large collaboration with one of our partners where we're coming up with peripherals, and the peripherals are great. Like, I mean, when you look at it, I think I showed you a couple of images. So all of that is definitely going to happen.
From a personal reflection of thoughts on how you planned way back in 2021 about the formation of RNTX and how things would be Revenant and now RNTX. So how has the fulfillment been till date? Like, are some goals or some milestones already achieved, or there's an underperformance, or you think you have achieved too early, or it's overwhelming for you? Like, where are we? If you're talking about someone who is getting into an esports industry, what should they look at from your journey? How do you rate your journey? Let me rephrase it back.
I mean, just stick around. Yeah, like, I mean, there'll be a lot of people who, a lot of people give up. I think during the time we started, there were a couple of other organizations also started at that point in time. They kind of gave up. But I think sticking around, perseverance is key. And I think
introspection part, I mean to say, if you had to rate your own journey, would that be average, above average, or something which still you thought you would achieve on time, but still haven't, in terms of esports specifically? The industry, it can be industry as a fact as well. As you mentioned, it's not yet matured. So we've been writing articles about esports is the future from 2015 now.
Yeah.
So now we're in 26. So 11 years down the line, we are still calling it esports the future.
Yeah.
So when that future would be, are we too late now to call it future, or we're already past that stage? Being an owner, how do you rate that journey of your own?
So when it comes to esports, I'd probably say that average. Because I think the biggest highlight for me was winning Valorant last year. Apart from that, in 2024, and with the Brawl Stars 3rd, 4th, because that was one team that, again, we had probably built with one player key. But Esports, when I talk about from a scout point of view, like he did extraordinary, like winning 2 back-to-back is great. And even with content, I think it's been extraordinary because I've never really had a vision. Like, when I started, I never really thought that I'd probably have like a creator roster and, we'd probably be creating content. So for that also, like, kudos to Scout. So that's also been extraordinary. And I mean, I don't know how to rate my journey, but it's been a fulfilling journey. Like, I mean, it's been great. I'm at the moment, I'm happy
Content
with-
to or what you have achieved
Yeah.
till date. Yeah.
Yeah, and coming to the whole question about esports is the future, I think, I think we should probably say it for one more year. With the number of games coming out this year, we'd probably know how the future like kind of shapes out for the entire industry altogether. But I think 2026 looks positive.
Yeah. Any closing comments on your organization's future and what fans may expect this year? Anything exclusive you want to share and talk to specifically RNTX fans?
I think, a lot of merge drops, a lot of maybe like, a couple of rosters here and there that we'd probably look at adding. And, a lot of other path-breaking collaborations like Naruto. Definitely that, a lot of content, and we'd probably be doing like a very large sort of a fest also at some point if everything works up. We'd definitely be doing like a big sort of a RNTX fest where we'll be again closer to the fan, and this only came after when we did like our whole sort of announcement meetup IP which happened in Smasher in Low Parel. And this time we're looking at other cities also. So that is something that we're definitely working. Don't hold me to it, but we're really trying to make it happen.
So thank you, Rohit, so very much for your insightful and sincerely honest responses. Until next time. Thank you.
Yeah, perfect.